Filming yourself while traveling, I think, is one of the hardest things to get right. Not technically, but more emotionally. And if you're watching this and you've ever felt awkward setting up a camera in public, maybe not sure where to look, not sure how long to talk, unsure whether you even should be filming yourself, well then this video is for you. So I'm in Moorea today, and I wasn't actually planning to film much here. The original idea was just to get a few shots, have lunch, enjoy the day, and maybe add a couple of moments or scenes to another video that I already shot. But plans change, and sometimes I think those are the best days to talk about real stuff. I want to walk through how I think about filming myself when traveling, how I make it feel natural instead of performative, and how I use different tools to get the shots that I need without turning the experience into a massive production. Now let's start with the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't struggle with filming themselves because they don't know how to use the camera. They struggle because filming yourself forces you to confront awareness. You're aware of the camera, you're aware of all the people around you, you're aware of how you look, you're aware of how you sound, and that awareness is really distracting. So the goal isn't to get over it, the goal is to design a system that reduces that awareness. That's the real trick. When I first started filming myself while traveling, I made the same mistake most people make. I treated self-filming sort of like a performance, right? I'd set the camera up, I'd stand in one spot, and then I'd talk for way too long. Second guess everything I said, and then feel really awkward, breaking everything down in front of everybody, and then moving on. And that awkwardness always showed up in the footage, because the camera doesn't lie. If you're feeling uncomfortable, the viewer's gonna feel it too. So the first shift I want you to make is this. Filming yourself is not about performing. It's just about thinking out loud. That's it. The moment you try to deliver something, and instead you just let the camera follow your thoughts, everything changes. Your body relaxes, your voice relaxes, your pacing improves, and then suddenly it doesn't feel like you're filming yourself. It feels like you're just walking and thinking, and the camera just happens to be there. This is why location matters. And not because a location needs to be impressive or anything like this, but because movement gives you permission not to be perfect. Standing still invites overthinking. Walking gives your brain something else to do. That's why walking and talking work so well, right? You're not staring into a lens trying to be profound. You're moving through space while processing an idea. And the viewer feels that. Here in Moorea, for example, I don't need to explain where I am every 5 seconds. This environment does that work for me. So instead of talking about this place, I just let the place be the backdrop for whatever idea I might have. And that's a huge distinction. When you talk about a location, the pressure goes up. When you talk through a thought in a location, the pressure drops. So now let's talk about the practical side. When I'm filming myself and traveling, I usually think in layers, not setups. I'm trying to let each tool just do what it's good at. And that's why cameras like the Nikon ZR and something like the Insta360 X5 really shine together. With a camera like the Nikon ZR or the Z6 III, I'm thinking of intentional shots like talking heads, thoughtful pauses, controlled framing. And this is where I want the image to feel grounded and cinematic. I'll often find a spot where I can just lean against something, sit down, or just exist naturally in the frame. And then I'll talk through one idea at a time. Not the whole video, just one thought. And that's important. Try to deliver an entire script in one take almost always backfires. Instead, I like to think in chapters. There's one idea, one pause, and then I can move. Then there's the Insta360 X5. This is where things get really fun, because when you use a camera like this, you're no longer setting up shots, right? You're capturing presence. I can hold it, I can walk with it, I can let it roll while I'm moving, or even place it somewhere and then just forget about it. And that changes how you behave. You're not posing, you're not checking your framing, you're just being. And those are often the shot that makes the edit really feel alive. And here's a key point that I think a lot of people miss. Your job isn't to look natural on camera. Your job is to literally forget about the camera. And the fastest way to do that is to stop expecting every clip to be perfect. Some clips can just be transitions, some can be texture, and then some can be the glue that holds the story together. When you give yourself permission to film imperfect moments, I think the good moments are going to start appearing more often. Another big mistake people make when filming themselves while traveling is talking way too much. And I don't mean in length, but in density. Like, they'll try to pack so many ideas into just one moment. And that's usually just a sign of nervousness. So instead, I'll often talk slower than I think I should. I'll pause mid-sentence. I can let the environment fill the silence. And then I'll look away from the camera for a beat. And that's it. Those pauses can be really powerful. They give the viewer time to settle into the scene. And they give you time to think. Now let's talk about something practical that people ask all the time. Where do you look? Well, the answer is a lot simpler than you think. If you're talking to the viewer, you just want to look right into the lens. If you're thinking with the viewer, just look away occasionally. I'll maybe glance at the environment. I'll let my eyes move naturally. It doesn't break this connection. It just creates honesty. One of the biggest unlocks, I think, for filming yourself is realizing that movement replaces energy. So you don't need to be animated. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be fast. If the camera's moving and the environment's constantly changing, slow delivery becomes more compelling. And that's why these kinds of videos feel so watchable. They're not demanding attention. They're inviting attention. Now, I want to pause real quick and mention something practical because a lot of people ask me all the time, but the look you're seeing in this whole video is not accidental. The look for this is a custom travel LUT that I built specifically for footage like this. Bright locations, mixed lighting, keeping skin tones nice, a lot of movement and walking shots. This LUT is designed to be a really good starting point, something that gives consistency without locking you into a really heavy color grade. Now the link is free and I'm going to link it in the description. And if you want more options, I also put together a full travel LUT pack with variations inspired by different environments and moods, like softer looks, there's a lot of punchier looks, warmer looks. The free one is actually good enough and all you need if you're doing a couple travel videos. But the pack will give you a lot of flexibility when you want variety without all the work. Anyway, back to filming yourself. Another thing that helps a lot is if you reframe what good footage actually is. Good self-timed footage isn't about how confident you look, it's about whether the viewer feels like they're just right here with you. And that's it. If the footage feels shared instead of presented, you're doing it right. This is why I rarely worry about being perfectly framed when filming myself while traveling. I care more about continuity of thought rather than composition. If the thought is real, then the framing can be imperfect. If the framing's perfect, but the thought's empty, the clip doesn't work. Here's something else that's important. You don't need to explain why you're filming yourself. A lot of people narrate their own existence. I'm filming myself because blah, blah, blah. You don't need to do that. Just start talking. The viewer's gonna connect the dots and catch up, I promise. When I'm traveling solo and filming myself, I also try to separate talking moments from existing moments. I can talk for a few minutes, then I'll stop filming and just be there in the moment. And then I'll go and I'll come back. That rhythm keeps it fresh and prevents burnout. Editing will also become way easier when you film this way, because you're not trying to salvage awkward moments, you just are assembling thoughts, and thoughts are going to cut together beautifully. If you're new to filming yourself, here's the biggest reassurance that I can give you. Nobody expects you to be perfect. They really don't. They just expect you to be real. And the more you let the environment carry part of the video, the less pressure you're going to put on yourself to perform. And this is really helpful. If this is helpful, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I got a lot more coming on filming intentionally, simplifying your process, and creating videos that feel natural instead of forced. And again, check the description for that free LUT and the full pack if you want consistent color without extra work. And real quick, I want to leave you with one more thought. Filming yourself while traveling is not about confidence. It's about comfort. And comfort comes from systems, not courage. Once you can build a system that supports how you think and how you move, the camera's gonna stop feeling like an obstacle and it's gonna start feeling like a companion. Well, that's all I got for this one. So I hope this one helped you out and I'll see you guys in the next one. It's raining, so I gotta go.